to be with you because I love seeing you, but in these times it's really that much harder. You import telecommunication products, you're an incredible father, everyone in the neighborhood loves you. But now the world knows you because of your oldest son, Ben Zussman, 22 years old. It was a very, very hard day, and I want to ask you to take us back to that moment, December 3rd, when you found out that you'd lost your oldest son.
Oh my gosh, that was a very difficult moment that you chose for me to go back to. Our son was in Gaza for, I believe, over 3 weeks. His message just all the way through was, don't worry, everything's okay. We were in contact with him almost on a daily basis, including WhatsApp. We got pictures from him with a background of a beautiful beach, with him davening, with sitting with friends with coffee, and the message was always, don't worry, everything's okay. Just a few days before December 3rd, he shared with me that he's going to make a small change in his role in the war, but still the message was very clear. So after 3 weeks or a bit more than that with him in service, I was more calm. I really was more calm. So when I came home that evening and walked into my door, and we were just about to sit down for dinner, and then we were missing napkins. So I left the house, left my front door to the storage room, which is out of the house, to get napkins. And I see 3 soldiers walking down the steps. I still was calm. I didn't even cross my mind. And then they asked me, Zussman? And then I said, oh no. But the oh no was still, okay, maybe something happened. Maybe he's injured. I don't know, even though we spoke to people just to be ready for this moment, and it was very clear that in most circumstances when you're injured, no one comes to you, they call you. So it should have been very clear to us, but I just couldn't believe it. They weren't willing to talk to me until we walked into the house. So there were like 7 seconds there where I was desperate to have them open their mouth, but they wouldn't.
Possibly the longest 7 seconds.
Yes. And then they started the traditional, or the words that they are told to say, B'tza'arab anu mitzta'ari. I just couldn't believe it. That's those moments.
It's the greatest nightmare any parent could possibly have. How was Boaz? You say your son was with you. You've got 2 beautiful children. They looked up to their brother so amazingly. How they're coping, and what's your role as a father in this situation?
Well, Boaz is 16 and a half, and he was home then. He admires Ben. He loves Ben. Ben's his good friend, as not only his older brother. He's doing well. He's a strong boy. And there's something, I could feel it. I never spoke to him up front about it since that evening. But living in Israel, belonging to the youth groups and high school and our communities, we're all brought up with the messages of how important it is to defend our country and our people. So besides being a proud brother, Boaz, towards Ben, I think for a moment then I saw the smirk on his face, that he's not only could talk and with friends or with strangers about what it is to be a proud citizen in Israel, and my brother's a soldier, but he's now a ach shakul. So that smirk, it was kind of where it met him that he's not only talking about something, he's there. So that's where he's standing now also today. He's getting so much love and support from his friends, and he's in the center, so it gives him a good feeling. But it's all about that very thin line between terrible sadness and knowing that he does not have his older brother anymore, to be the proud younger brother of. I don't like the word hero, but that's the word I could come up with now.
Ben was such a special person one of the greatest contributions that yourself and Sarit have brought into this world. It's almost impossible to encapsulate, but what is his legacy? You know, describe Ben to us as more than just a son, but only you knew him as a father to a son. Who was he? Share with those that didn't know him as personally as you.
He worked very hard to work out and to be the strong soldier he was. He worked very hard to teach himself Arabic. He worked very hard. He chose a special unit, which is not a commando unit in the army, but it's a unit where they're a small group of soldiers who have to work hard in order to make their unit the unique and special unit they are. So if they wouldn't have worked hard, nothing would have happened. So they had to work hard, but they were working hard to make them better soldiers. So even after reading what he wrote, which was a personal letter from him to us, and he was not talking to Am Yisrael and telling anybody or asking something from people how to behave. It was just about how much he loved this country and how much he was with pride willing to sacrifice himself in order to defend the country he loved so much.
And if you had a message for the Jewish world, you know, it's a difficult time for you as a family, for you as a father, having seen with Ben, what's your message?
There are many things where Jews around the world could be helping Israel, and there are many things that we should be doing to help Jews around the world.
And so if there's any time I believe that we can hear that message that you've shared, I think it's now. Do you have any message to the broader world, not the Jewish world specifically? Anything that, you know, with everything that's gone on, with everything that we're experiencing, that people should be thinking about, learning, knowing?
I know that there are many people around the world who have mixed feelings of, is that real evil? Who is on the side of the evil? What is the evil that's being done? So my message is for people to try to open up a little bit to view and realize that this evil is not just evil against Jews, Israelis, it's real evil that we have to fight together. And it's not about Zionism, it's not about Judaism, it's about the good against the bad. A simple thing like that. And if we don't win this war and beat the evil, all of anybody who's listening around the world is going to be facing the evil. So that's...
I don't think you could be more correct, and unfortunately you've paid the deepest price, and seeing what evil is in the worst way that anyone should ever imagine it. But at the end of the day, this is for civilization, this is for humanity. Israel is the front line for the entire world of good versus evil.
At the beginning of the Shiva, even before I saw this letter, I told some close family and friends. We had such good communication with our son. I could be almost definite that during the whole Shiva, we won't hear one thing from anybody that we weren't aware of. Maybe a small detail, but nothing dramatic. And that was the case. We did have good communication, and therefore we didn't hear anything from anybody, but we did hear from Ben. Ben shared with us after he passed away courage, pride, much bigger than we ever knew that existed in Ben.
And that's to always be remembered for.
Thank you.
Is there any last anecdote or story about Ben or about this time that you'd like to share?
Last night, we got a knock on the door. I got a phone call a few hours before that I should be ready for it. A mother of the paramedic woman soldier who serves with Ben comes to our house with Ben's tefillin. It was obviously a very touchy moment for us. For some times, he was the only religious person in the unit, but his commitment to tradition, including putting on tefillin every day, is something that was so strong and managed, and everybody around him knew it, and they knew that the tefillin is something that they have to hand to us as soon as possible.
Well, his tefillin sat by his heart and sat by his mind.
You mentioned the mind, so I'll just conclude with this. We were asking ourselves, what was it about the words that he left which made so many people around the country and even broader shaken and taken by those words? And I think the main thing is that from October 7th until Ben was killed, we all were aware of that we have amazing soldiers, and the youth, they're not youth anymore, they're already young adults, are heroes, and we have to be proud of them, and they're the ones who are saving us.
Well, Hashem yikom damo and Hashem yakim damo.
Amen.
We take our hat off to you. Am Yisrael continues to be there for you, to hug you. But ultimately, the price you paid and the legacy that Ben leaves behind is a greater lesson than anyone can do in life. And through his death, we continue to be illuminated and warmed by that.
Thank you. Am Yisrael Chai.
Am Yisrael Chai. Thank you so much.